My dear soul, pause everything else and hear me not just with your ears, but with the core of who you are. This is not a speech. This is a divine dispatch. I don't come with fluff. I come with fire. And I declare this not with mere breath, but with the thunder of heaven resonating in my bones. Get ready. God's greatest move in your life isn't a distant dream. It's not years away. It's not hidden behind a calendar date. It's here, looming, closer than your next breath. Right now, the heavens are stirring. And I ask you, will you be ready, or will you be distracted? This is not the hour for slumber. This is not the moment for excuses. This is the season to awaken your soul, to sharpen your spiritual senses, to cleanse your motives and align your heart. Because when God moves, He doesn't tiptoe. He doesn't ask permission. He moves suddenly. He moves decisively. And only those whose spirits are postured for His presence will recognize the signal. Some of you have been praying until your knees ached. You've been fasting when no one was watching. You've been weeping quietly while everyone else was laughing. You've waited in the silence, wondered if heaven had forgotten your name. You've carried pain like a secret and endured seasons that no one else understood. But hear this. The silence was not God's denial, it was His design. The delay was not abandonment, it was divine arrangement. He wasn't ignoring you, He was preparing you. And what you're about to walk into, it will not compare to the pain you're coming out of. But you must be willing to release what was. God doesn't pour destiny into hands still gripping dysfunction. He doesn't place divine opportunities in hearts that are still trapped by what others once said. If you're still wearing the shame like a second skin, if you're still chasing ghosts and holding on to the counterfeit thou, will you ever take your seat at the table? God isn't offering you crumbs. He's preparing a feast. But you cannot dine with the divine while dancing with your past. If your soul is still chasing shadows, how will you recognize the glory? There is a divine orchestration occurring in realms your eyes cannot see. Conversations are being aligned. Encounters are being arranged. Detours are being designed. All to collide at a single moment, your moment when heaven and earth meet, and what God has stored for you is finally revealed. But listen closely. Preparation is the proof of faith. Living like the promise is already here, that's the posture God responds to. Lip service means nothing if your life doesn't echo it. Many miss God's blessing not because they're bad, but because they're looking in the wrong direction. They're expecting the door to arrive with applause, with glamour, with comfort. But God often wraps greatness in the garments of adversity. He disguises destiny in discipline. He hides favor in the folds of difficulty, and only eyes of faith can see through the veil. You can't wait until everything makes sense. You must trust that God's logic is higher than yours. You may say, "But I'm not ready. I'm not qualified." And I tell you, God never called the qualified. He calls the available. He lifts up the humble. He pours into the willing. Your resume doesn't move Him. Your degrees don't impress Him. Your pain doesn't scare Him. He's not looking for the most famous. He's looking for the most prepared. He's not calling the loudest or the flashiest. He's calling those with anchored hearts, steady minds, and awake spirits. You don't need the world's applause when you have God's assignment. But understand this, every divine assignment comes with a divine cost. God trains warriors in the wilderness, not in the palace. He builds strength in secret places. He forges character in rejection. He refines faith in delay, and when the time comes, He reveals those the world counted out. So I ask you not lightly, but with urgency, are you ready for what you've been praying for? Have you been faithful with what's in your hand? Or have you buried your gifts under fear and excuses? Have you spent more time comparing than preparing, complaining instead of growing? Are you ready to step into the answer you cried for? Because listen, opportunity will always expose the difference between the prepared and the unprepared. And when God opens the door, He expects you to walk through it, not circle around it, not analyze it into oblivion. He doesn't owe you another confirmation. He doesn't owe you another dream, another prophecy, another whisper. He's already stirred your heart. He's already nudged you in the midnight hour. And now the wind is changing. The current is shifting. Those who can discern the season will rise. But those who cling to the past will miss the wave. This is your call, not just to survive, but to rise, to walk boldly into divine purpose. This moment is not about money, not about status, not about approval. It's about alignment with God's higher plan. It's about surrendering to something far greater than yourself. Some of you are being trained to influence nations. Others are being molded to heal families. Some are being shaped to carry light into the darkest places. But all of it, every bit of itis bigger than you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for people to see your value. Stop waiting for the emotions to match your assignment. Faith is not about feeling. Faith is about focus. And now is the time for razor-sharp focus. Cut the noise. Drop the distractions. Walk away from what drains you, because God will not entrust His greatest moves to a soul cluttered with compromise. He's searching for vessels that are clean in conscience, fierce in faith, and unwavering in spirit. You are standing on the threshold of something you've never seen, but if you're still clinging to what you've always known, you'll sabotage the door before it even opens. Your next chapter is calling. But will your current mindset destroy what God is trying to build? Sometimes, God delays not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. He waits until your character is stronger than your craving, until your spirit is rooted deeper than your desire. Because if you beg for rain and then curse the storm, you weren't ready for the blessing in the first place. God wraps answers in endurance, packages miracles in process, and only those who trusted Him in the shadows will be trusted in the spotlight. He does not place fire in hands hungry for attention. He does not pour wisdom into hearts chasing validation. You must be emptied of ego, purged of pride, filled with divine purpose. Some of you are surrounded by noise, by critics, by unnecessary battle sand. God is stripping you down. Not to punish you, but to reveal to you. What's coming is sacred, what's ahead is holy, and it cannot be mixed with what is impure. So let me ask you one last thing. Are you ready to shut the door on what was so you can finally walk into what is? You've been through too much to give up now. You've cried too many nights, pleaded in too many prayers, and survived storms that should have buried you, yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still carrying the echo of faith. Do you think God brought you through all of that just to abandon you here? Absolutely not. That pain had a purpose. That delay had direction. You were preserved, protected, and positioned for something bigger than you've dared to imagine. He kept your mind when it felt like it was slipping. He guarded your name when others tried to stain it. He shielded your soul when the enemy came in like a flood. You didn't survive by chance, you survived by divine covering. And now, the time has come not just to recover, but to rise. But let this sink in. Readiness isn't passive. It's not waiting with folded handsets, preparing with focused urgency. It's discipline. It's obedience in the unseen. It's cutting away what weakens you, pruning what no longer bears fruit, and strengthening what still carries promise. You must prepare your habits, rebuild your attitude, audit your circle, realign your vision. Because when God sends opportunity, it doesn't arrive gently, it crashes like a wave. And when it does, you'll either ride it with courage or be swept away in fear. The divine current is moving. Will you move with it, or will you hesitate and miss your moment? You may feel forgotten, but in the stillness, God is sharpening you, pruning you, separating what can't go with you. This season isn't a prison, it's a cocoon. And the darkness you fear is actually a womb where your wings are forming. So stay faithful, even when no one's watching. Pray when it's dry, fast when it's hard. Say no to what your flesh craves. Say yes to what your spirit needs. Because what the world mocks, God magnifies. What others ignore, God breathes life into. When He raises a person, He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't take votes. He honors obedience. He exalts the humble. And He crowns those who stood in the fire and didn't bow. So stop chasing validation. Start pursuing purification. Don't chase followers. Chase presence. Because God's opportunity doesn't flow through man, it comes straight from the throne. You're not being prepared for popularity. You're being prepared for eternal purpose. And that requires deep roots, quiet obedience, silent growth, faithfulness in secret. Because when the storm comes, and it will, you will not be shaken. Because you are being built on the rock. And what God is building through you is not for temporary applause, it's for generational impact. This isn't just about your life. It's about the lives that will be changed because you said yes, because you endured, because you didn't fold. So now, build, fast, pray, learn, strip away the distractions, clean your altar, guard your oil, stay hidden until the trumpet sounds. Because the opportunity God is preparing, it won't just elevate you. It will demand all of you. What if the very thing you're praying for comes wrapped in discomfort? What if the opportunity you've begged God to send doesn't arrive on a golden stage, but hidden in a moment that feels more like a test than a triumph? This is where many turn away. But hear me clearly, this is the divine test. Will you recognize God's hand when it arrives dressed in sacrifice and not success? Will you say yes when the reward isn't immediate, but the calling is unmistakably eternal? Because those who are truly prepared aren't seeking ease, they're seeking alignment. They're not chasing applause, they're chasing obedience. And that is the kind of soul God can entrust with something eternal. He often whispers before He thunders. He tests you in private long before He elevates you in public. So honor your hidden seasoned steward, your silent struggles, because what you do in the shadows is what determines the strength you'll carry in the spotlight. Don't despise the days of preparation. Don't wish them away. Cherish them. Because one day you'll look back and realize that every moment in the waiting room was a sacred classroom. Every delay was a divine arrangement. Every valley a furnace that forged your faith. Every silence a test that matured your trust. So I speak now to the weary soul, to the one who wants to quit, to the one who wonders, does any of this matter? Yes. Yes, it does. You are too close to stop now. You've endured too much, walked too far, prayed too hard to let go here. What God has been building in silence is almost ready to be revealed. But it requires a ready vessel to carry it. And that's you. Don't just start praying, become a prayerful person. Don't just reach for a miracle, but the vessel that can carry one. Don't just wait for favor, build the character that can hold it. Because faith without preparation is fantasy. But when faith meets preparation, that's when destiny is born. A wave of divine opportunity is coming, and it won't wait for you to get ready. It will align with those who are already ready. God is about to shift people into positions they never applied for, open doors they never knocked on, connect them to people they never pursued. Why? Not because they were famous, not because they were loud, but because they were pure, because they endured, because they were faithful in silence. And when it happens, you will not boast, you will bow. You'll lift your hands not in pride, but in worship, because you will know it was God, only God, always God. So let your heart be found ready. Let your thoughts be anchored in truth. Let your motives be purified, your words refined, your hands diligent, and your eyes fixed on heaven. Because what God is about to release is too holy to be carried with a half-hearted life. This is not the time for lukewarm decisions. This is the moment for fiery, focused, unapologetic commitment. It's time to draw the line and declare, no more compromise, no more delay, No more excuses. I am ready. When the heavens move, they do not wait. When God declares, now, He does not consult your comfort. He calls your faith to rise. And the only ones who will step into the promise are the ones who prepared as if it was already theirs. They didn't wait to believe, they believed while waiting. They didn't need the world's confirmation, they had heaven's conviction. They didn't wait to see it, they praised before it arrived. Be among those souls. Be among the ready. Be among the unwavering. Be among the few who refuse to bow to fear, to fatigue, to convenience. Because God's opportunity is closer than it's ever been. And when it arrives, it will be too late to prepare. Only those who already did will rise to meet it. If only you could see what heaven is orchestrating behind the veil, you would never waste another second doubting. If your eyes could pierce into the realm of eternity, you'd see angels dispatched on your behalf. You'd see mountains you once thought immovable already crumbling. You'd see divine pieces coming together in perfect harmony, puzzle pieces that once looked scattered and senseless. Yes, it does. You are too close to stop now. You've endured too much, walked too far, prayed too hard to let go here. What God has been building in silence is almost ready to be revealed, but it requires a ready vessel to carry it. And that's you. Don't just start praying, become a prayerful person. Don't just reach for a miracle, but the vessel that can carry one. Don't just wait for favor, build the character that can hold it. Because faith without preparation is fantasy. But when faith meets preparation, that's when destiny is born. A wave of divine opportunity is coming, and it won't wait for you to get ready. It will align with those who are already ready. God is about to shift people into positions they never applied for, open doors they never knocked on, connect them to people they never pursued. Why? Not because they were famous, not because they were loud, but because they were pure, because they endured, because they were faithful in silence. And when it happens, you will not boast, you will bow. You'll lift your hands not in pride, but in worship, because you will know it was God, only God, always God. So let your heart be found ready. Let your thoughts be anchored in truth. Let your motives be purified, your words refined, your hands diligent, and your eyes fixed on heaven. Because what God is about to release is too holy to be carried with a half-hearted life. This is not the time for lukewarm decisions. This is the moment for fiery, focused, unapologetic commitment. It's time to draw the line and declare, no more compromise, no more delay, no more excuses. I am ready. When the heavens move, they do not wait. When God declares, now, He does not consult your comfort. He calls your faith to rise. And the only ones who will step into the promise are the ones who prepared as if it was already theirs. They didn't wait to believe, they believed while waiting. They didn't need the world's confirmation, they had heaven's conviction. They didn't wait to see it, they praised before it arrived. Be among those souls. Be among the ready. Be among the unwavering. Be among the few who refuse to bow to fear, to fatigue, to convenience. Because God's opportunity is closer than it's ever been. And when it arrives, it will be too late to prepare. Only those who already did will rise to meet it. If only you could see what heaven is orchestrating behind the veil, you would never waste another second doubting. If your eyes could pierce into the realm of eternity, you'd see angels dispatched on your behalf. You'd see mountains you once thought immovable already crumbling. You'd see divine pieces coming together in perfect harmony, puzzle pieces that once looked scattered and senseless. God is not stalling. He is staging. He is setting the scene for a glorious unveiling. And when it comes, every tear will make sense. Every lonely moment will become a monument. Every hidden act of obedience will rise like incense before the throne. But listen closely, God does not prepare divine doors for those who merely desire greatness. He prepares them for those who have disciplined themselves for it. Desire is not enough. Wishing is not readiness. God responds to those who labor in the secret place, who purify their hearts in private, who walk the narrow path when the wide one would have been easier. He is not fooled by performances. He's not impressed by charisma. He sees the posture of your heart. And it's the heart that trembles at his whisper, the heart that bows in private reverence, the heart that says yes before the outcome is clear. That's the heart he will lift in due season. This is the hour where intentions are being tested. Not everyone will endure the fire of refinement. Not everyone will survive what's coming. But those who surrender fully, who choose obedience over image, holiness over comfort, will walk into something no man can fabricate. God is raising up a remnant, a refined people, a purified vessel. If you're hearing this, it's not by accident. It's because heaven is summoning you to rise higher than ambition, to go deeper than comfort, to surrender more fully than ever before. And make no mistake, what's coming will not be wrapped in ease. It will test your motives. It will demand your attention. It will require you to release what is merely good, so you can receive what is God. Some doors must close before the right one opens. Some people must leave before the right ones enter. Some habits must die before purpose can live. You cannot carry idols into a sacred season. You cannot cling to the superficial and expect to steward the holy. God will not dwell where pride remains. This is not just about favorites, about formation. God isn't merely blessing your hands, He's transforming your heart. Because if your heart isn't right, the blessing will become a burden. If your character is shaky, the opportunity will crush you. So in His mercy, He waits. He delays not to punish you, but to protect you. He's a wise father who doesn't hand swords to children not yet trained to wield them. So embrace the waiting, bless the wilderness, praise even in delay, because in the discomfort, destiny is being born. In the silence, God is whispering secrets that will become songs of victory. He is crafting within you a strength that will outlast the storm. He is setting you apart so when the moment comes, you will not collapse under the weight of what He's trusted you to carry. What if the silence you're living in isn't abandonment, but alignment? What if the isolation wasn't rejection, but divine protection? God hasn't withdrawn from you to punish you. He's pulled you away to position you. You are not being ignored, you are being prepared. You are not being forgotten, you are being formed. Every unanswered prayer, every slammed door, every season where heaven seemed quiet, it's all part of the sacred architecture of your preparation. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random, nothing is without design. Let me say this with unmistakable clarity. The greatest tragedy is not waiting and not receiving. It's receiving and not being ready. There is no grief quite like wasted purpose. No sorrow more bitter than mishandled favor. That's why God is far more invested in your maturity than your moment. He's more concerned with your obedience than your outward image. Because He knows the opportunity He's preparing for you doesn't come with a spotlight. It comes with eternal weight. This is not just a moment of recognition. This is a mandate of responsibility. And when it arrives, you must be ready, stable, unshakable, and anchored in faith. Many cry out for the door to open, but few prepare for what's on the other side. Yet the ones who pray in the quiet, fast in the shadows, worship when no one sees, they will not be caught off guard when God calls their name. They will rise, not in confusion, but in clarity, not in fear, but in boldness, clothed in wisdom, wrapped in integrity, filled with the quiet authority of one who has walked with God in secret and passed the test of obscurity. So I urge you, do not envy those who rise quickly. Because when the winds of adversity blow, and they always do, only those whose roots run deep into God's presence will remain standing. This is your moment to silence every voice that does not echo the voice of heaven, to turn down the volume of comparison, of distraction, of noise, because now more than ever God is speaking, not through thunder, but through stillness. Are you listening? Are you posturing your soul in such a way that God can trust you with His secrets? Because make no mistake, to whom much is given, much will be required. The weight of what's coming will not be carried by shallow faith. It will crush superficial commitment. You cannot survive this next season on borrowed conviction. You cannot rely on yesterday's oil. You must dig a fresh well, ignite a fire that no external storm can extinguish. Your intimacy with God must become your fortress. Your discipline must become your rhythm. Your purpose must become your compass. Because when the door opens, there won't be time to prepare, only time to respond. And how you respond will be shaped by what you're doing right now. If you've been building in secret, you'll rise in public. If you've been sowing in tears, you'll reap in joy. If you've been fasting while others feasted, you'll have strength while others faint. God is not unfaithful to forget your obedience. He is not unjust to overlook your preparation. He is merciful enough to keep you in waiting until you're fully ready. So don't despise the delay. Don't rush what God is perfecting. Every second matters. Every moment is measured. Every tear has been collected in the vault of divine timing. And when the appointed hour cometh, it will come suddenly, swiftly, without warning. The clouds will part. The path will clear. The burden will lift. And you will step into what you've been carrying in prayer for years. But this is not a passive season. This is the hour of pursuit. Run after the things of God with a holy obsession. Burn with passion for righteousness. Cry out for wisdom like it's silver. Build your days around obedience. Surround yourself with those who sharpen your spirit. Speak only what uplifts. Walk only where peace leads. Give yourself fully to the process God is using to form you. Because your next chapter isn't just about you. It's about everyone attached to your obedience. The door God is preparing is not ordinary. It's not seasonal. It's supernatural. It will redeem the years that felt wasted. It will restore what was stolen. It will multiply what once seemed meager. But it will only remain open for those who are aligned. It will not bow to pride. It will not yield to rebellion. And it will not wait for those who hesitate in doubt. You must walk through it with conviction, with boldness, with the blessed assurance that God has already gone before you. So press in, press forward, refuse to settle, refuse to compromise, refuse to trade the eternal for what is only temporary. Keep your hands clean, keep your spirit soft, keep your heart lifted, because when God breathes dead, things come to life. When He speaks, doors swing open. When He moves, nothing can stop it. And when that moment comes, and it will, you'll want to stand boldly and declare, I was ready. And if you're not ready yet, get ready. Because the greatest opportunity of your life is not coming from marnits descending from the throne of God. God doesn't speak in confusion. He speaks in clarity. And when He declares something, it is final. No force in heaven or on earth can cancel what God has ordained. What He opens, no one can shut. And what He shuts, no one can force open. But His opportunities are not ruled by luck, they're ruled by alignment. So come into alignment. No more divided loyalty. No more half-hearted devotion. No more spiritual apathy. You must decide, who are you living for? Who are you trusting? And who are you willing to follow when the path requires total surrender? Many want the promise but resist the purification. They want the breakthrough but refuse the breaking. They want elevation but detest the crushing. But God refines His vessels in fire. He tests the weight of your character before placing the weight of His blessing in your hands. So don't mistake delay for denial. Sometimes God allows the pressure to expose where your loyalty truly lies. He listens not just to your words, but to your thoughts. He searches not just your actions, but the motives beneath them. And it's in that deep inner work where transformation begins. God's opportunity is not just a stage, it's a sacred stewardship. And He does not entrust that kind of responsibility to those who are casual with their calling. So rise, train your mind to think higher. Train your soul to crave deeper. Train your spirit to reach further. Let the noise of the world fade into the background. Let the applause of man grow silent. Because when God speaks, everything changes. But you must be ready. Not just with open hands, but with a surrendered life. Because the greatest tragedy isn't that people miss God's opportunity. The real tragedy is being unprepared when it finally comes. Too distracted by bitterness. Too consumed by comparison. Too paralyzed by fear. Too intoxicated by worldly ambition. Their hands were full of the unnecessary, so they couldn't hold the sacred. You've knelt in midnight prayer. You've been tested in silence and passed. God saw it all. And this moment, this opportunity is heaven's response. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is the manifestation of divine timing meeting a ready soul. There will come a day very soon when God will test the weight of your preparation. And on that day, you won't have time to rehearse faith. You will have to walk in it. You won't have time to build discipline. You will have to lean on it. The opportunity that's coming will separate the spectators from the servants. It will distinguish those who are curious from those who are committed. God is not looking for crowds. He is looking for covenant. For those who didn't just post about surrender, but lived it. Those who didn't perform for people, but persevered in the shadows. Many have been hidden not because they were forgotten, but because they were being forged. Gold is not displayed until it's refined. Diamonds are not revealed until pressure completes them. And so it is with you. What looked like isolation was actually incubation. What felt like silence was sacred instruction. God was teaching you how to trust Him with no applause, how to obey when there's no audience, how to remain steadfast when there's no reward in sight. Because that is where the foundation is laid. Not in the light, but in the shadows, where only God sees. Your private life is more important than your public image, because that's the soil where God plants His promises. If you've been careless with time, if you've tolerated distractions, this is your wake-up call. God's opportunity is not delayed, it is approaching. But it's coming with purpose and precision. Only those who have made Him their priority will be able to carry what's next. So let every compromise be confronted. Let every idol be crushed. Let every distracting voice be silenced. This is the time for fierce alignment, for radical obedience, for complete devotion, because the higher God takes you, the more exposed you become. And if your roots are shallow, the wind of promotion will destroy you. But if your roots run deep in prayer, in truth, in humility, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. Understand this. God is not sending an opportunity to inflate your ego. He is entrusting you with influence to reflect His glory. He's calling you higher not to sit above others, but to serve with deeper impact. And the higher the calling, the deeper the preparation. There are no shortcuts in the kingdom. What He is building in you is not fragile, and eternal things require eternal focus. If you're wondering why the door hasn't opened, ask yourself, have you examined your heart? Have you dealt with the pride, the bitterness, the secret compromise? Because God's opportunity is holy, and He will not place what is sacred into hands still stained by rebellion. He loves you too much to give you something prematurely. He knows what you can carry, and He knows when you are ready. So stay hidden until He reveals you. Stay faithful until He rewards you. Stay surrendered until He releases what He has ordained. Because when you finally step through the door, it won't just change your life, it will change every life connected to your obedience. What if this season wasn't punishment but preparation? What if the fire you feel right now isn't to destroy you but to forge something unstoppable inside of you? Let this season be your furnace. Let it refine your character. Let it humble your ego. Let it burn away every attachment, every mindset, every crutch that cannot go with you into what's next. Because hear me, your comfort will not follow you into your calling. Your old identity must die. Your reliance on people must fall apart. Because where God is taking you, He alone must be your source, your guide, your strength, your breath, your anchor. The path forward won't be built on popularity. It won't be paved by applause. It will be carved by faith, pressed by sacrifice, and sealed by obedience. And when that opportunity comes, and it may not look like what you imagined. It may come wrapped in responsibility. It may look like a burden before it reveals itself as a blessing. It may show up in silence before it shouts in glory. But that is exactly how God moves. He tests the heart before He reveals the assignment. He hides treasure inside of the task. He plants miracles in the mundane moments others walk past, but you've been trained to recognize. Only those who are spiritually awake, inwardly alert, and divinely aligned will see what others will miss. So keep your oil full. Keep your fire alive. Keep your conscience clean. Keep your heart humble and your hands ready. Do not let the world numb your discernment or drain your drive. Do not let culture cool your conviction. The world may be cold, but you must burn brighter. God didn't ignite your soul to flicker like a candle in the wind. He lit you to blaze like a torch in the night. You were not born to blend in, you were born to stand out. You've been set apart to carry something eternal. To reflect a light this generation has forgotten. To walk in truth when others are walking in noise. And when the moment comes, and make no mistake, it will come like a sudden wind. Those who are ready won't hesitate. They won't question the call. They won't second-guess their assignment. They'll rise like eagles, move with clarity, speak with authority, and walk in power. Because they've already been living what others are only beginning to pray for. They've been in the fields when no one noticed. They've been on their knees when no one clapped. They've been refining their thoughts, purging their motives, and aligning their steps with the quiet rhythm of heaven. Those are the ones God uses. Not the loudest, not the trendiest, not the most gifted, but the prepared, the broken, the surrendered, the one who cried in silence but kept walking, the one who chose to lay down what was easy for what was eternal, the one who picked discipline over comfort, truth over popularity, purpose over performance. God sees you. He's heard every unspoken prayer. He's counted every tear. He's witnessed every quiet act of obedience you thought no one noticed. And your moment? It's closer than you think. So rise even if you feel unqualified. Stand even if your knees are trembling. Obey even if you don't understand the full picture. Because when God says it's Timeno man, no circumstance, no opposition can stop what He has already set in motion. And if you've been faithful in the silence, you will be fruitful in the spotlight. This right now was not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something sacred, something supernatural, something so holy it will echo beyond your lifetime and into eternity. God's greatest opportunity is not a myth. It's not a fantasy. It's not a distant dream reserved for someone more talented, more connected, or more worthy. It's real. It's coming. And it's yours to receive if you are prepared. But preparation isn't passive. It's painful. It's private. It's intentional. So strip the unnecessary. Let go of what cannot follow you. Release what is no longer aligned with where you're going. Because God is building something in you that will outlast you. And the weight of what's coming requires a foundation that won't crack under pressure. When your moment comes, and it will, you won't have time to build character. You'll have to lean on it. You won't have time to find clarity. You'll need to move in it. This is why you're being tested now. This is why it's felt heavy. Because you're not just being equipped for a blessing, you're being entrusted with a mantle. So let the fire refine you. Let the silence teach you. Let the hidden place become holy ground. Because when heaven opens the door, you will walk through it without fear. Not because you felt ready, but because you were.